All the best.
Good evening, everyone. I, Bhavna Venkatraman, and my co host Rani Srinivas are pleased to welcome you on behalf of Wiki Karnataka Human Resource Council to yet another Thursday Live to celebrate Engineers Day week.
Hi, everyone. Wiki is a national business chamber which aims at promoting women and empowering women by its presence over 120 countries and a strength of 250,000 council members. Wiki Karnataka Human Resource Council is an ambitious initiative by our President Shikha Gupta and a team of accomplished women from different organizations and various walks of life. We all have come together to strive, empower each other, and make a difference. This council also brings to the table current events, interviews, movers and shakers, sheds light on sensitive issues, and much more. Our aim is to create a momentum where we touch upon all aspects of work and life. Welcome you all.
Science is about knowing, and engineering is about doing. And you get in women engineers on board, you have a new way of creating and doing things. And we're so glad today and extremely privileged that we have 4 women engineering professionals to share their journey and insights.
I start with Ms. Mamta. Mamta is an executive global quality systems and total quality assurance at GE Healthcare. She is a compliance driven leader with over 27 years of progressive experience. She has grown into the role of executive quality at GE Healthcare, where she is responsible for overall quality compliance of GE Healthcare management systems for all their India sites. Beginning her career as a software engineer, Mamta has held multiple leadership positions in technology at GE Healthcare. She is also known for her passion in driving the inclusion and diversity charter across the organization. She is the winner of Pride of Pillar Award across technology organization in GE India. GE Healthcare President Award for Quality and Compliance and is recognized by Quality Office for multiple accomplishments. Mamta's hobbies include exploring new cities and their local culture. A very warm welcome to you, Mamta. Your participation is a great addition to our council.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Our next speaker for today is Amrita Bhide, who is a senior engineering manager at Intel. Amrita has over 17 years of industry experience. She completed her MS in electrical engineering from Missouri University of Science and Technology in USA. Soon after, she returned back to India and started her career with Intel. Over the years, she has done multiple roles spanning chipset validation, program management, and most recent being managing a team on IP FPGA and emulation solutions. She has received multiple department level recognitions. Besides work, she enjoys cooking, dancing, and shopping. Her mantra is keep learning a new skill every year. Welcome, Amrita.
Thank you. Thank you, Bhavna.
Moving on to our next guest, Kripa Shah. She has over 17 years of experience in teaching and is currently assistant professor at Infrastructure Technology Research and Management. She received her BE and ME degree in electrical engineering from LD College of Engineering, Ahmedabad. Post that, she worked with Electricity Board for about 2 years and then decided to pursue her career in teaching. To enhance domain specific technical knowledge, she decided to pursue her PhD and received her PhD degree on the topic Assessing Mechanical Deformations in Transformer Winding from the Department of Electrical Engineering at IIT Gandhinagar. Apart from teaching, she has contributed in research and development and several conference papers and peer reviewed journal papers. Though she is in academics, she has 5 published patents and 1 granted patent on her name. She is also a member of IEE Society. She is a member of Women Development Cell and conducted several programs for the upliftment of women. Proud of you, Kripa. Welcome to this session.
Thank you so much, Rani, for giving lovely introduction. And I would like to thank Wiki Karnataka for such a nice initiative. Thank you so much.
Our fourth speaker today is Hiral. Hiral is a dear friend of mine from engineering days. And Hiral Doshi is a product management consultant at VMware. Hiral has over 13 years of industry experience. After completing her BE in Electronics and Telecommunication in India and MS in Electrical and Computer Engineering from Georgia Tech, USA, she worked as a network engineer at financial institutions in the US. Post that, she pursued her MBA from Columbia Business School. She has since worked in product management at VMware for various product lines. Recently, she has moved back to India after a decade-long career in the US and continues to work with VMware. In addition, she also has a side gig as an education consultant, where she guides students who want to pursue their higher education, be it master's, PhD, or MBA, overseas. She loves the tech field and education is her passion. So she's very happy to be working to make the best of both. Welcome, Hiral.
Thanks, Bhavna. Thanks, Rani. Thanks for having me over here. Thank you.
Most welcome. I think we should start the session with the question and answer. And let's move on to Mamta. Mamta, your perspective over 2 decades, would like to know important skills that you think our education system can adopt or has adopted compared to your student days, changes that you have witnessed.
Yeah, thank you. So if I go maybe 3 decades back, I think, not 2 decades back for my education, if you want to take it, 3 decades back, and the current education system is totally different. I can tell you, when I joined the engineering, it was 89. I joined the computer science field. I mean, engineering was not my choice, but then I landed up there, and I can explain the story later. But computer science was the only stream which I thought that only women can look at, but we didn't look at any other stream. If I look at the 3 decade back industry, whatever I learned during the colleges, right, I don't know how much have I really adopted and used it during the corporate world at the job when I acquired. But if I see the current skills development, the current curriculum, things have changed. But I don't think the Indian education system has moved a needle in a big way with respect to being in line with the academic, in line with the corporate needs, or the companies are changing in the technologies, right? So I mean, what I would like to say is, like, there are some changes. If I say, like, there's an internship programs of 3 to 4 months mandatory in semesters now, that would really give a quick shot of what corporate world is for the student. And also, I feel there are some universities are really working with the organization to co-develop the curriculums. So I see some changes coming in, but I think we still have a long way to go. We need out of the rote learning, get into more of a conceptual learning than just the mugging up the history and the topics which make sense when you come into the corporate world. Evaluation system has to change for sure, because still today in the Indian system, the marks still hold a bigger chunk of importance, more than trying to understand, what kids have learned, what kind of classroom participation they have, what kind of projects, communication, leadership skills. We're not still looking at the overall development. It's still a marks based education system we have. Another one, even today, if you go to the household, I mean, I can tell you my own house also. Everything we think is like engineering or a doctor still. When I was 30 years back, I was getting into this field. I only knew either you become a doctor or an engineer, nothing else. Even today, I think majority, 80% of households still thinks doctors and engineers. We need to start respecting the other fields of career which can give we can give it different opportunities for the students. better training the educators. I can tell you, when I started the computer science engineering, my teachers, they were learning computer science along with us. I mean, it was really, I mean, if educators are not well educated to the future of the for the country, I don't know, we need to focus a lot more on that, I feel. Introduction of technology, I mean, being abreast with what are the changing technologies coming in from the industry, and making sure the curricula is adopting, that is another change I feel we need to bring in. Then teaching them for the purpose of education. Even today in our, sorry to say, you get educated, you become big, you become rich a person, but you're not talking about the humanism. I think there's a few things that still I feel the needle has to move. Some things are moving. I don't still feel the education system, what I saw 30 years back, what I see today is a big swing. I would have expected a big swing to happen. There is an improvement, but I don't see the big swing. But what I see the difference is this generation, they are not developing themselves to be the industry ready or a corporate ready, just because of the information available and kind of coaches and mentors they have in their life. So that's my bit of analysis and the suggestions.
Yeah,
Thank you,
yeah.
Mamta. That's quite a valuable, observation. Yeah. Bhavna, over to
So,
you.
taking it from there, right, I want to understand Hiral and Amrita, right? Both of you all completed your BTech or BE in India. And then I know, about 10, 15 years back, it was a trend for everyone to go and do their either the MBA or, an MS, right? So you all went abroad, did your MS. So do you think you have an edge at work when you started your career, right? Post that. I know, Hiral, you started your career in the US, but Amrita, you came back to India. So do you think having a postgraduate degree overseas gave you an edge at work? And what were some of the takeaways that you think can be adopted in our undergrad itself, right? Undergrad curriculum. So maybe Amrita, we can start with you, and then Hiral can get your thoughts on this.
Sure. So I'll talk about the two aspects of your question, Bhavna. First thing I think is about the post graduation itself, right? So I think that is very, very important. So anybody who's coming to me, generally the students or the team coming for advice, I always tell them that yes, do your post graduation, because the specialization kind of is very important, because engineering degree generally gives you a base, and then if you're going to do MTech or masters, you actually deep dive into a domain and learn more subjects in that domain. Also that helps you in a way that when you're doing your masters or MTech, the companies who are coming to recruit you are more closer, your work will be more closer to what you're actually studying. Okay, so that aspect is about post graduation. Now doing an MS overseas or abroad adds a different dimension to it. You definitely have a lot of exposure to diverse culture. You are in a different country, you're exposed to a different education system. For me personally, I think I did gain a lot, because I think I did improve a lot on my confidence, because you're alone, you have to manage your studies, the curriculum is different. And a fun fact is, actually I scored very bad grades in my first semester when I went abroad, because I was still getting used to the system, right? But then slowly coped up and did well. And I think it gives you a lot of exposure. Second thing, it prepares you for the life skills. I think abroad, we don't work here as students, but when you're studying abroad, you generally end up doing on campus jobs. You do, all kinds of jobs. It's like you're ready to do anything and everything. So I was like a news writer for my college newspaper. So I developed a flair for writing from there, which I can use at my job. And definitely that exposure helped me, definitely gave an edge when I started working, Bhavna.
Hiral,
Okay.
how about you?
Yeah. So I'll give probably add to that and a little more to what Mamta said, right? So for me, start doing an undergrad was not actually something I wanted to do, like in engineering. It's something that I did because that's what, like you said, it's either doctor or engineer. So this was a field I went into. I finished after finishing my undergrad when I went to Georgia Tech. I was still on the fence whether I want to continue. And one thing that I really liked about doing my master's abroad was, like Amrita mentioned, the education system. It was so different than what it was here. So over here, like it's all about reading and just giving your exams. Over there, it was more practical. So you learn so many different languages, programming languages from course to course. So I started liking that a lot. And then the other thing that I really liked about my master's was the ability to do courses in a different department. So with my master's in computer engineering, I did my courses in management. So that actually gave me a different perspective of how you can do tech management, right? Though even after that, I did start work as an engineer, but it actually built up to what I wanted to do in the future. So I was able to use that a little bit into my jobs where we had to do like competitive analysis of different vendors in my networking job and things like that. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think the education there actually helped me quite a bit compared to what I would have done as an engineer here. But having said that, the system or the work culture in India right now for engineers than what it was 15 years ago, I think is different because I see in my company when we have individuals join as engineers right out of school, I mean, their confidence, their level of knowledge is different. So you can see the difference on how it is. So after an undergrad, if you're definitely not sure what you want to pursue, I think it's a good thing to even start working at this point.
So Rani,
Yeah, no, okay.
we were discussing about skill and the skill gap, right?
Correct, correct. So moving to Kripa, like do you see a skill gap from our engineer students, and how do you prepare them for the workforce? Does our education system support them? And if there are any specific or special programs or initiatives, could you please share your insights on them?
Mm. Yeah, what I would like to say is educational system. The basic role of education system is to provide knowledge to the students. So basically, education system is creating generic engineers, right? But skill is something which is connected to practical exposure, right? So yeah, I see a gap between skill gap is there between this. To like fortunately I'm tended to the university in which like I get opportunity, right? We can bring allied industries in our institute wherein we can work in closed loop. So I would like to give an example, like here all the faculty members are working for some or other industrial projects, right? So that time our PhD students or PG students as well as undergrad, all the students are working for industrial problem, which is kind of real time problem. So they are getting exposure to that. Further, students are going for doing internship. Apart from that, like we update our curriculum. It is not like same as before. To cope up with the advancement in the technology, we update the curriculum. As in, this time we are offering artificial intelligence course on smart monitoring, course on let's say transportation infrastructure. So all these advanced courses are considered and those courses are taught to the students. Moreover, like we do conduct training also, like being a part of education system, we do conduct training starting from basic training course to the advanced training course, wherein we call experts from eminent universities. We do call experts from industry. Right now, there will be a training in first week of the October, wherein we are calling various industrialists from Singapore, from Germany, from Sweden. So, like there is a scope for students to learn so many new things. And all these are like whatever I've talked about. All these are external efforts, right, by educational system. But what I feel is internal motivation is must. Like we can claim that this educational system is not working well, or we have not got opportunity to work well. But what is there inside me? Do I see gap inside me? So yes, I do see there is a gap inside me. So what I should do as an individual, that I should try, I should put my efforts to overcome that gap. So basically external efforts as well as internal efforts together will bridge this gap. That's what I feel.
That's nice to know. And yes, the current education system, to what extent it supports, and definitely there are many avenues for the students to groom up. And like you said, the internal or within themselves, if they have the urge to learn things that make them or mold them well. Yes, Bhavna, over to you.
So that's an interesting perspective from Kripa, who's in the teaching field, who's teaching students to become engineers. So now I would like to hear from Mamta, Amrita, and Hiral, right? On your perspective, you're on the other side, right? Where you are getting in freshers, you are getting in the engineering students, they join the corporate. Do you see a gap? Do you see that there can be more collaboration between the education institutes and the corporates to kind of bridge the gap?
Yeah, I can go first. I strongly feel, I mean, there's been a needle movement happening in multiple years, if I see, but I strongly feel there's a huge collaboration needed between the education system and the corporate, because I feel the skills that a student will, learn at a premium institution or colleges actually needed to survive in the industry characterized with cutthroat competition, right? It's quite different. And also I score, because of the education system we have, the I score really can get them a lucrative job, but sustaining and retaining is going to be a challenge because the skills needed to survive in the corporate. I think I also told earlier that we need to look at the overall development of the students. Like, we may get a very good engineer, but when it comes to working with a team, managing, understanding the competencies, delegation, overall corporate environment, you may find the skill gaps. I would suggest, that if the corporate, the companies, and the academics can well come together and build the curriculum, which can really, when the students are out of the college, they are corporate ready to be hired. I know it will not be 100%, at least it's a 70-80% match would be really good for the students also, not to get a shock when they enter the corporate world and, oh, what's happening here? What did I learn and what am I trying to use and adopt, right? So that's what I feel. There's a strong need for these two strong parties for a student to be a great corporate employee in future, to collaborate, and for the future of the country also, actually. So that's my feedback on that.
Yeah, agree, Mamta. Because being on the HR side, I also, and in the IT industry specifically, I do see where HR is called upon, to kind of collaborate so much with our business stakeholders and the employees, engineers coming in, right? You need to move them from the college
Yes.
environment, or sometimes you need to create a college environment in the
Yeah.
company
Yeah.
and then slowly move them into the corporate. It takes a while.
Yeah.
It takes a while.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah. Practical approach, makes a big difference. That's the gap, actually.
yeah. Great. How about you, Amrita?
So I would say the generation today coming in very smart, very ambitious. They are very clear on what they want to do. Like when we started working, I was like, okay, give me a job, I will do anything, right? So, but now they are very clear. Sometimes I have people come and telling me that I don't want to do this coding. I want core design work. I want to write papers, and I tell them slow down because you're just starting. So I think this generation has the ecosystem like that, right? You have course era, or you have so many things where you can learn online, you can do courses apart from your engineering. As Krupa is saying that a lot of corporates are kind of collaborating with academia. So I think, as Mamta said, the needle is moving, and I do see that the generation coming in, they are quite clear, they're quite adaptable to whatever you give them, they will do good at it. At least I have had a very good experience with the freshers coming on board.
So from my perspective, I pretty much echo what Mamta and Amrita have said, right? That what we see the students coming in, like I have seen resumes where, like Krupa mentioned, they do have industry experience in their school projects, which they have done with their professors. So we do see students have that. But like Mamta was mentioning, there is still that whole college mentality that comes in. which is fair. I mean, they are 21, 22-year-olds, so it's fair enough. But still, if there can be certain merger between the two, the collaboration, more collaboration between the corporate and academia, then I think it'll help quite a bit more. But um, again, very confident kids coming in, they know exactly what they want to do. So it's quite good to see that for sure. Bhavna, you're on mute.
Yeah, sorry. So now moving from the education to student community, Rani, you want to ask the next question?
Yes, would like to understand the perception of engineering as a career with limitations on continuity, specifically for women who make choices to take a break and then return to work programs is in focus today. Your views and inputs. I think all four of you can share, whoever wants to initiate first.
Yeah, I can go first because I'm very much primarily involved at this point of time in this program as an inclusion and diversity leader in my organization. So I can really talk about it.
We
See,
appreciate that, Mamta. Please.
yes, yeah, we are doing a lot of program. See, also, right, as a corporate with a lot of I think you would all have heard about the inclusion and diversity being driven and at every corporate level. So one of the big action we are trying to take is like in how we can support the women in engineering, not only in I can talk about women in technology, we're talking about women in operation, we're talking about women in commercial, all three streams, how we can support them. Generally if you go, women would only choose an IT job because of flexibility of work from home. They also felt that you can take a career break and come back, because a lot of companies are promoting the when they take a break they can come back. A lot of companies are there, like jobs for her were really trying to working and upskilling people who have taken for a break and put them ready for a corporate. So comeback opportunities are coming up very high. But what I would like to say and very clearly talk about it is like it is not only in the technology field. Every stream in engineering, corporates are looking at giving as much flexibility and support for women so they can excel and contribute to the industry and the company. So we have a lot of programs. We make a conscious effort to see if we can really hire somebody who has taken a break. If needed, we work towards upskilling them. I can tell you my personal own experience. It's not now. I think it must be maybe 10 years back. I heard two employees who had taken a break because of the maternity leave they had, and then they took a break for 1.5 years. I took them. They are my really, very great performers, I'm telling you. So I mean, I think the biases they had in the break, will somebody will be come back and contribute in the same level, that doesn't exist now. Yes, only thing is like if you've taken a break, you need to make sure that you're up to date with the technology, work towards upskilling them. Sometimes corporate helps them, there are agencies who will help you to upskill and be ready. But for sure you have an opportunity even if you're taken a break, and that's a great support coming from the corporate. And I can vouch for it because we're really driving it across our businesses.
I pretty much echo that. We have seen that even in my company where we have this returnship programs is what we call them. And that's where there are women who have taken a break from their career, especially in engineering or technology. We have programs where they are involved, included. We have interviews, they are selected. And then there are programs which actually allow in the company for them to skill themselves up again, right? So obviously you want to upskill before joining, but then there are programs that guide you towards that as well. And overall, I've seen even when it comes to managers, they're very, very cooperative. I mean, it's not like expected that you know everything day one and things. They're very cooperative. They know why the breaks were, and even if they don't, they do give that flexibility as well. So I think, I mean, this having taken a break, I know a lot of people are scared to do that. Okay, what if I take a break for 2 years and what happens? And I hear that all the time. But now the industry is changing, and so I see that the opportunities are going to exist, and there are people who are supporting this, which was not the case some time ago. So, yeah.
Hey,
Um,
Bhavna, I would.
yeah, sure, Amrita.
Yeah, I would add a little different perspective. I think I agree with Mamta and Hiral, where they, every company has policies. Every company is doing a lot in diversity and inclusion. We want more women in workforce. We are encouraging all that is happening. But I think along with that, what is also happening is we want women, also to not take that break, because the ecosystem is being very strong now, right? Companies have policies like you can go part time. The maternity leave has increased from 3 months to 6 months. So whenever somebody comes to me, I generally tend to give a support system where you don't have to take a break. But of course, taking a break is a very difficult decision. But I think coming back is also equally there are a lot of opportunities. But I think we should strive, and I would recommend the book Lean In from Sheryl Sandberg. That kind of is my favorite, one of my favorite reads, where she talks about this, about making a choice to take a break from career. So if anybody is interested, please, I would recommend people to read that.
Yeah, what I was saying that government also has launched many policies in this direction to support women who have taken break. So basically, to name a few that I am aware of, Women Scientist Scheme is one among many such policies in which they support women with a career break to pursue their career again in research. Even not only scientists, they also support corporates. They also support technologists. Anybody who is having career break, they can join back using this scheme. Moreover, why we have to just discuss about break? Some women cannot continue her career due to you can say mobility issues because they have relocated. So there exists some scheme in which government is supporting those women who have relocated and they can once again continue. There is one scheme called Curie program in which they try to enhance women's in SMT schemes, that means science and technology scheme. And even I would like to give my example, as Amrita rightly said, why to take a break, right? We try them not to take break. So same thing happened to me when I was pursuing my PhD and I was on maternity leave. I took maternity leave for 6 months, but then I thought I cannot continue for a few more months. So I requested my institute that can you please deliver the lab equipments on what I was working with. Can you please deliver those equipments to my home? And you don't believe that the institute had they agreed upon, and all the equipments, all research equipments were delivered to my home, and I was doing my research along with my baby. So such a nice conducive environment was provided by my parent institute, IIT Gandhinagar. So I would like to I'm really agree with this idea of Amruta. We should provide such environment to the women candidates.
That's really interesting to know. And especially where Mamta mentioned, like set up the new skill set or, train them, call them and give them that opportunity, to where Kripa says like the entire instruments or the system infrastructure was moved to our house. It's really interesting how corporates are supporting, and we, especially engineering, women in engineering field are rising. So we also would, I think, Bhavna, would you be interested to know, like from the traditional to the new age, how it's
Yes, yes, yes.
moving and growing?
So I think firstly it was amazing to know, Kripa. I wasn't aware. I don't know if many people were aware of some of these government schemes, but all your inputs is very encouraging. And of course, from the corporate side, I know there are a lot of initiatives to ensure women remain, you know, not just engineering overall, but in engineering specifically, you remain in the workforce, you continue, right? And you don't necessarily have to leave the field, right? Mamta, I think specifically G, healthcare, and you also made a point that some time back that uh, computer engineering, IT, it's perceived as flexible, people can probably continue in the field. But there are operators, there are people in the civil, mechanical engineering streams. So traditional versus the new age engineering streams. Do you see,
Yes.
are there any steps that are being taken to onboard more women engineers and ensure they continue in these traditional streams?
Yes. Okay. So let me tell you traditionally, like I think I already mentioned when I was doing, I think I saw one person, one woman in mechanical, civil, there was nobody, that's what the state. And competencies, we were 10 of us. That's it. That's how it was. And now I see a slight change. But if I say, if I go to a class of civil engineering, will I find a 50%? May not be. But I see that, maybe electrical, electronics or mechanical, some changes are coming, but still the IT sector is the one which is hitting mainly with the women students, right, the girl students. But I'd like to give an example. I think Volo was one example. You would have seen it was trending in LinkedIn with 1,000 women shop floor employees. GE Healthcare, we opened up a new facility where we have got all women employees, shop floor. I'll tell you, I visited the facility last week. All the 15 of them there. They were doing a Barashi activity for a CT system. Removing it, assembling it back. I'm thinking they were all so young, just out of college. I mean, wow, they can. It's like we have these biases. Lifting heavy parts, assembling it, building this big gantry city, and testing it, moving inside the bay. Only men can do it. But when I saw all those girls, and took a picture because that's a memory for me. I took a picture with all. Said, wow, great needle movement, I really appreciate. And these are all small, one of the examples. We need to have a lot more of this to do this. Should not become a news, it should become a part of a life. Women in shop floor, women in mechanical, women standing in the construction facility and getting things and guiding it should become a normal news. That's when I can say that we have reached where we have to reach. For that, we have to do a lot of things. We need to start very early conversation with the kids, as early as school. I know some of the NGOs, they start discussing with the students at the high school to start discussing their career option. Giving them, software is not the only, the IT sector is not the only option. There are multiple options. They try to showcase the corporate world. Sometimes they bring to the corporate and show how there are a lot of women in the manufacturing facilities. So those kind of things has to happen a lot more. And I also feel from corporate also, we have to start publicizing a lot more on these things to give the young kids coming out of the school to say, oh yeah, this is another career option I can really look at. Some of them may be interested in mechanical, electrical, but they may think, oh, maybe I'm the only one who's going to be there, let me just get into like a sheep into the other IT sector. But I think getting very early conversation with them, trying to have some few coaches and mentors for them to take them and guide them in the right path. And also, I think corporate role models, showcasing and taking them to the corporate or taking them to the factory visits to show how things have changed would make a big difference, I feel. I would like to just give another example from GE Healthcare. When we talk about manufacturing operations leader, we generally think what? It's a male. Out of the 3 facilities, we have 2 of the facility operation leader are female in our organization, and they are really the rock stars of the organization. Things are changing, right? I mean, those are the role models, those are the examples we need to showcase. And also, I think we saw the movie Mangaland, right, where we saw it's a woman power there, right? It's structural engineering. Can you think a woman in that field? But they did wonders. I think these kind of role model showcasing, touching the girls in a very young age, trying to coach them and mentor them in the right direction would really help us to bring more workforce in the not so women centric stream. And the day it becomes not a news is when we can say that we are in there.
Yeah, I think I would like to add to what Mamta said. I think I liked the example of Mangal movie, right? I think I really, Tessie Thomas, who is the missile woman for India, I think is a role model, right? And she was the project lead for, our missile mission. So I think, as Mamta said, yes, we should talk about these role models, and I think we can do wonderful.
That's really great, Mamta. I think, as you said, the needle has moved. It's today. It's in the news. I think with all the initiatives that all of us put together, that day is not very far where it will become the norm, right? Hope we all can witness that soon.
Yes.
I'm very sure. And if we have leaders like Mamta, that will be a speed up process as well.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to our next question, our understanding like techno-functional role options, teaching options versus core technical roles. We would like all of you to, share some insights on this. Who would initiate this? I leave it to you.
I can start.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
for me, so the way we perceive that after engineering, it's always going to be like hardcore coding or doing something. If you're in the IT field or if you go in some other field, you just have to continue working as an engineer. What I kept hearing, or I keep hearing over and over now, is yes, we like engineering, but we want to do more. We want to go on the business side of things. And that happened to me as well. I mean, I really like tech. I always wanted to continue in tech, but I wanted to be on the business side of things. So that's when I decided to just be technical, but then did my MBA and went into product management. And also because I wanted to be very much aligned with the technology, I chose to stay in a company which is hardcore tech. It's enterprise tech, so you actually like are in touch with it. But in product management, I do get the ability to even do the business side of things, talk to like customer sales field. I mean, whatever, right? Even like set up the product roadmaps. So I believe that there are so many other things that you can do beyond just technical if you want to. If you want to stay technical, yes, absolutely. If not, the reason I see a lot of people leaving engineering at an early age is or not going is because I don't want, it's more like I don't want to continue doing coding. I want to do more other sides. So maybe I'll just go into marketing, or maybe I'll just go into advertising or something like that, right? And I mean, yes, those are fields which are great, but if you really like tech, you are not only stuck in doing just one thing. There are options beyond what you're doing, and that's something which was not explained to us in undergrad. I didn't know about it. I didn't know about it till I went to do my master's, and probably not even then. So after that is when I came to know like there are so many different things, like tech marketing, for example. I mean, it's great if you want to do something like that. So there are many functions beyond your technical functions which you can pursue for sure.
Yeah, I would like to say that I do enjoy my teaching role, and rather than teaching, I would like to say that academic position what I have right now, because that academic position includes both teaching as well as research. In that also research, I have fundamental research that is oriented to basic domains, and also I can contribute in industrial research. So outcomes are different. Like industrial research means we need quick output, and fundamental research means right now we are not able to see what would be happening, but after 10 years maybe we are getting output. So basically I'm with them. I stay with students all the time, so I have time to guide my students, so they just don't only learn all the subjects, but along with that they have chance to pursue research, and they have chance to apply that research in various domains. So basically I'm glad that I can encourage students in this position, and as well as I can prepare youth for the future, right? So every day here if I see students, it is in teaching, it is not like just I teach to the students. Sometimes students will come up with new innovative ideas, right? So always there is interaction of various things, I mean exchange of ideas between us, and every day we have some idea to work on. Every day we find challenge, I mean it is challenging to find the solution, but still we work on. And there is no monotonous job here. Every day you get direction to work, and you can spread your wings in all the directions. So I like basically because there is no restriction that only this much you can do, but only sky is the limit. That's all I can say. We can work in multidisciplinary area with the students, and they are really a big support to us. Whenever we spend time with them, we forget about everything and we try to discuss about new things. One example I'll give you. Recently, and in March 2021, I filed one patent. That idea Actually, I started developing that idea, but one student joined me that, ma'am, I would also like to join with you. And within 1 month, we filed the patent, and with government support, even they support intellectual property and innovative ideas. So within 6 months, I received my order for grant. So such a great thing I will never find anywhere else, but only in educational system. So that's where I appreciate initiatives by everyone who are helping us, and students with the help of whom we can achieve these great heights.
Okay,
Amrita?
yeah. Amrita, I want to go.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think as Hiral said, right, I think I agree with her. Since I have done multiple roles as well, I started as a hardcore into chipset validation, but then I did some program management, I did some lab management, and then took on different roles. So it's not like you need to stick to hardcore engineering, right? There are multiple, and I have examples like at least even at Intel, right? There are many things that you can switch your domains, right? Even I know one example where one person did correspondence law degree while he was working. He was an engineer, and then he moved to the corporate law department, and I was like, okay. So the opportunities are immense. I think it's just, if you have, I always say that if you have the potential, if you have the aptitude and the attitude, I think, as Kripa said, sky is the limit. So
Okay, thank you. So what I would say is, it's an individual choice each one of us make, right? So I can give you what I did, and I can give, if I was today in this era, what I would have chosen. Okay. So, 30 years back when I started my career, I did my technical core job. I did enjoy it. I mean, that is a very short term period, 8, 9 years. And then I moved into techno functional role where, it would give me wider exposure, both technical and kind of expertise I can build in, a lot of strategic planning discussions. Basically, it was a good balance and all around knowledge, and that could actually give me career options. Like Amrita said, if you have potential, you can move. The sky is the limit. You can move any function anywhere, and you can juggle around a lot. So when I was juggling between, should I be a core technical, focus on my technical path, or should I move into the techno functional, get into leadership path? I chose this techno functional and leadership path just because at that time I don't think there was something, kind of, how you can grow in a technical path. How can you do a 30, 40 years of being individual contributor, focusing on your core technical job? Still, can you grow up in your career? That was not there. But today I can tell you there are two paths all companies have. One is the leadership, where you can grow your functional path, and also on the technical path. And I know some of them who have hired like 20, 22 years in GE, but they're all core technical job doing very good. Company supports them, not that they're stagnant at one level. They're clearing the career ladder, but focus on the core technical job. So I chose this, but today it's a choice of anybody in the organization. If they support both the function, giving the ladder movement and exponential growth happening, why not? I think it's individual choices.
That was quite intense, and we got to know a lot of details as we started exploring. I think Bhavna, even about the leadership on the technical front, is something that we need to know, right?
Yes, yes. So, I had a question specifically for possibly Mamta and Amrita, right? While there's so much happening, there are a lot of opportunities. We do see that at leadership level, right? There is still less women leaders, right? I'm talking about technology, core technology or engineering leaders. While we do have a few names, we can name them, but it's still low. What is your view on this, and how do you think this can change?
Okay, so yeah, I agree with that. I mean, yes, it's still low. It's a challenge many of the companies are currently facing. To really work on developing and attracting and developing the more women in leadership or in the technical field, it needs a company wide changes driven from the top as a bigger priority, and every leader should be responsible for making this happen, right? There are multiple things we can do, looking at, it's not that technical leadership is consistently being in the retention policy is very, very critical, because for women in critical stages in their life, I mean, yes, we don't, as Amrita said, we don't want them to take break, but sometimes the situations does arise that there is ups and down. How can we look at retaining them? It's not like some of them don't come back actually. They just take a break. Some of the really great technical talent. How can we look at retention challenges, and also looking at what do they want? How can we take it, depending on the situation, the kind of breaks they would need, kind of policies changes we can give. If organization can give support at that point of time, I'm sure things can work and really develop the leaders, as we look at. I think it's a big organization strategy. It has to be a bigger priority, every people leader's responsibility, and great retention strategy in trying to understand what they want, and how organization can provide that support to keep them going. Succession planning, addressing the skill gaps is another one I think we can look at. So basically, I think these are the few things we can really try to work on to see if we can really move the needle to make sure we can get more women in the leadership and technical leadership mainly.
Yeah, I think again, to add on to what Mamta said, I think even the companies are doing a lot of leadership training for women, right? At least I see a lot of courses. You enroll for leadership, how to have a leadership presence, or how to give good presentations, how to develop good soft skills to kind of grow up in your technical as well as the soft skills portion of it. And the second thing I think is we have a lot of role models to look up to. I think this was different 10 years back, but I think in the last, at least 5 to 6 years, there are so many women technologists, as Mamta was saying, right? They're principal engineers driving
Yeah.
core innovation. That itself, I think, will motivate our junior, or the next generation to come up and, take those, bold career moves, I would say.
Yeah. And the last statement I would like to say, sometimes pay and benefits will really attract, but it takes a lot to make a woman stay, because, they would really need a challenging work and a little bit of flexibility to keep them going.
True. Retention matters. Now, I think, Bhavna, it's time to pick one question from our audience. One of our council members, Shreya Bajaj, um, she question for the panel is, do you feel that your gender gives you a different perspective and experience from your male counterparts, and any advantages? Who would like to take
Can
this?
you
I
Should I
give it
go?
to you.
Okay.
I
Okay.
just
I think I
want to
will go.
add one more
Okay. Yeah, yeah, sure.
question, follow-up question to it, right? This is one question, and just a follow-up question on the gender part, right? Have you also faced any bias in terms of stereotyping of roles? I think it's just a follow-up question. You all can answer all three.
Okay, maybe I can go first. I think gender biases do exist. There is no running away from that fact. And there are a lot of stereotypes also that exist, right? So, one of the stereotypes that exist is that women are not so technical. And I have heard it, multiple times, right? But as we discussed, I think we are breaking that myth, we are breaking that stereotype. The second stereotype is a funny one, but I think if you dress up well and are fashion conscious, people think that you are not technical. I don't know what technology and fashion have to do together, but that's a very typical stereotype. Once I remember somebody asking me that, "Are you like an administrative assistant or something?" And then I go and say, "No, I actually manage this team," and they were like, "Oh, okay." So I think there are stereotypes existing, but also I would like to answer the question that came up, is the different perspective. Definitely, I think diversity gives us different perspective. Like I am like more creative. I think for a particular problem, I can come up with a creative solution than my male counterparts for sure. Right, and I kind of give a different spin different enthusiasm to the table. I think that is what gender gives. And I would like to give an example where, it's generally very intimidating when you are only women in a room full of men and kind of presenting something, right? And that happened to me. I was like very shy, very quiet, and not talking anything, right? So then my manager actually called me and he said, "What's this about?" Right? And then he said, gender bias can also be used as an advantage, right? Because we had our VP come over then, and he said that if you made a good point, or even if you made like good presentation, good point, you are the first one to get noticed, right? And in the invite list, if there is 10 males and one female, and there is a name Amrita, they will actually ask, "Oh, so you are Amrita," right? So I think you should use that to your advantage. So sometimes I'm happy that I'm the only woman in the room at times. Just a different perspective, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I can go next. I think I agree with Amrita. Gender biases does exist, in subtle pockets here and there. It's not so evident as organization are trying to be more conscious about these biases coming in and trying to put efforts each one up, but still it exists. Some of the things I've heard, may not be recently, but some of the things I've heard. Oh, I think she took just take a break of pregnancy. So, maternity leave. Will she be able to deliver and give the same amount of time and come back and work? Then I feel, don't judge, ask them. They may be okay to do it. They have a different support system. Don't judge and make the decision on your own. They have the voice. You can ask them, right? Another one, if any female leader gets in something, somebody can say, oh, maybe it's because of a diverse talent, right? Still I think some here and there pockets we get to hear, but sure, there is conscious efforts being done to eliminate this biases for sure.
Yeah, and to add to that, right? I mean, yes, the conscious efforts are made, but what I have seen is there is a lot of unconscious gender bias going on. So to give an example, recently, like 2 weeks ago, I was just attending some session from a different company, and I just saw that all of them are like male panelists, and I was like, in this entire big company, you couldn't find a female leader to like come and sit as a panelist. And when I spoke, I knew one person from there. So when I spoke to him, and he was like, okay, we didn't even realize it was this way. So it was just and I know that those people to know enough that they did not on purpose not include someone. It was just like unconsciously, it was not there. So that is something now everyone I think should become conscious and start changing to an extent that then it just becomes a norm that we are going to have this panel, right? But yeah, I was shocked. I was going to post it on LinkedIn when I saw that, but I'm like, no, I know these people and they're really nice. I don't want to do it, but yeah, it was there. And the second thing, totally agree to what Amrita said. I had exactly the same experience. I was in, I used to work. My first two jobs were only men. I was the only woman in the room, and we had gone to NISE, and we were working with their engineering team, and all white male. And when I went in, one of the guys said, "Oh, so you manage this team?" And I'm like, "No, I work as an engineer in this team as well." I mean, it was just assumed because I'm the only female in the room. You manage something, you manage a team, or you admin or whatever, administrative assistant for them. And that is there. That bias was, I mean, it's happened multiple times, but that stands out. Like that was my first time, so for sure.
I would like to add on that. I say that why just gender bias? Actually, bias exists everywhere. Na? But we are especially talking about gender bias. Since I am in educational system, in academics, gender discrimination is relatively less. Actually, I have not come across, but I work with the industry for about 2 years in electricity board. I was working with. There, I was leading a team of some. My team comprises of several men, and they were linemen. Actually, I was the head of transformer management system. That time, what I felt that I received privilege for they were taking care of me everywhere. They were taking care of me that I am not upset, or I'm if I don't know something, because I was fresher. So they were explaining me so that I will not make any mistake in front of my higher authorities. So that time I got that privilege. Further, when I got admitted during my BE ME, even in PhD. Because I was a girl, my fees were relatively less than boys. So all such advantages I was fortunate to receive. But actually, I think that if we are able to pay money, actually we don't have any such financial issue. I think that gap can be minimized. Even everybody, men and women, can be given equal opportunity. Right now at workplace also, since I'm taking care of my family and I'm taking care of academics too, so I will receive some soft corner. In entire department, I am the only woman. So they also take care of my priorities. But at the same time, a man, if he is working for his family as well as he is working in the job, should be given equal priority. So balance should be there everywhere for women as well as for men. That's all from my end.
We are actually running short of time, but it's quite interesting the way, the momentum has picked up and lot of insights from such distinguished guests. Yes, Pamna.
No, so I think this has been amazing. Right? I think we could just go on, Rani and me could just go on, and I'm sure you all will also be, glad to continue this discussion. It's been a privilege to hear from each of you all. Different perspectives, so much more that we did not know about the field, right? A lot of initiatives that are happening, right? And I think kudos to each of you all for having made this choice of continuing in this field, making a career for yourselves. And thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and also
Thank you.
leading, holding your lead roles and inspiring others. Definitely, I am inspired, though I'm not an engineer, but it's really been an amazing session and you've enriched our experience. Thank you all. Signing off,
Thank
Rani
you.
Srinivas.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you
for
so
inviting
much.
us. Thank you.
Thank you so much.